Hey, what's going on, guys? Johnson here with the Fundamentals Part 3 video, and today I'm going to be going over fashion and grooming. Alright, so this will be one of the shorter videos because we're going to do a lot on fashion in person at the boot camps where we're going to actually personalize your fashion and kind of give you an idea of what you should be dressing like and what needs to be fixed immediately. But I want you to start working on this before the boot camp because you should be getting this about a month or so before, so we can start making some positive steps beforehand. Grooming, as I'm going to define it, refers to taking care of yourself. It means you have good breath, you smell nice, you look like you take pride in your appearance, you don't have hairs all over the place, you don't look like you just rolled out of bed and decided you were going to go to El Club and try to pick up some girls. So that's the first thing, is taking care of yourself, making sure you smell good, you look good, that you're taken care of, clean, all of that. That's grooming. The second part of this video is going to be on fashion, and fashion is going to basically refer to your personal dressing and style. Your fashion should send clear signals about what kind of guy you are while still following the 3 Fs, which are basically everything should fit, everything should have a form, which is form-fitting, and everything should flatter you, meaning everything you wear should look good on your size, shape, skin tone, etc. We'll go over that more at the boot camp with some actual personal examples, but for now, just think fit, form, flattery. Alright, so we're going to jump into grooming first, and the 5 problem areas of grooming generally happen from my experience now teaching 180-something boot camps in one of the following 5 areas. Now, before I get into these 5 areas, I want to just quickly note something. Anything obvious that, like, people are like, oh, dude, you have a broken tooth, you've got a big pimple, you've got massive acne, you've got a scar across your face, you've got a rash on your arm, you've got a growing lump on your forehead. Anything like that you need to take care of. Anything that obviously is like a growth or just something that draws attention and is not attractive or is gross, or just, ugly, get it taken care of. Within reason. I'm not saying do plastic surgery or anything like that, but if you have like a chipped tooth or, a big hairy mole or anything like that that you can get taken care of and it'll make you look better, do it. So that's the obvious. If I have to point the obvious out to you in the boot camp, we have some problems. Now, outside of the obvious, we have 5 problem areas. And the 5 problem areas generally are, number 1, hair. As guys, guys want to hold on to their hair, and sometimes that's not necessarily a good thing. Number 2, breath. Seems elementary. You would be perplexed by the amount of guys I have met at seminars, boot camps, clubs with terrible, terrible, terrible breath trying to talk to girls. Number 3, body hair. This is a big one. I'm going to go on a rant when we get there in a minute. Very controllable and very gross. Body odor, number 4. Again, should be a duh, but you would be amazed at how many guys don't smell good or don't believe in using deodorant or don't use a cologne. I mean, that's a simple thing you can do to make yourself smell better. And lastly, hands, nails, and skin. So let's go over these one by one. Number 1, hair. The major thing to be on the lookout for here is thinning. If it looks like you're hanging on for dear life, or even worse, you're combing over like our good friend right here to the right, then it's time to shave it off. Don't hesitate. Make sure you tan your head. But if you do have hair, you want to make sure that you're dandruff-free and that your sideburns are the same length. You'd be amazed at how many guys go out with different length sideburns. I even used to do it till I dated a hairstylist who pointed it out to me. So definitely be aware of that because girls do notice. And, maybe it doesn't make them not like you more, but it definitely doesn't help. And the big thing, which I'll harp on again and again and again and again and again over the year, is you need to update your hairstyle. Men generally stick with the same haircut they've had from when they were like 21 or 25, whatever like the best period of a guy's life was. That's the hairstyle they stick with. I heard some comedians saying it's true. Guys do not have up-to-date fashion hairstyles. I know it's scary to leave the world of the $6 haircut or, God forbid, cutting your hair yourself, But getting a better haircut can add a solid point to your look. So when we get into fashion, I'll talk about how to get a stylish haircut. But for right now, realize that everyone watching this probably needs to update their hair. If you look at my videos over the years, you'll see my hair change half a dozen times because I'm always changing it, always messing with my look and trying to be more attractive to certain people or less attractive to certain people, depending. Number 2, breath. Again, should be obvious, but you can have the best game in the world. If you have bad breath, you're not getting anywhere. So avoid garlic, onions, and spicy food before going out to meet women or going out on a date. That seems like common sense, but you'd be amazed at how many guys are like, oh, I just went to eat Indian food right before I come to the club, or yeah, I just threw down some tacos and salsa on the way outside, or I just ate like a hamburger with onions. Don't eat that stuff. Eat a little bit cleaner when you're going out. Make sure you have something to freshen your breath at all times. I keep gum in my back pocket all the time. Not just because I have an obsession with an oral fixation, but also because it keeps your breath fresh. So have something. I have gum in my car. I have gum in my pockets usually. Like, I always will have good breath. Bad breath is so gross. I've had women talk to me with bad breath, and they've even been cute, and I've just had to offer them gum or run away because it's so disgusting. Number 3, my personal pet peeve, body hair issues. I'm not telling you have to shave all your hair off, but girls are not attracted to overly hairy guys. So you have 2 options. You can manscape or you can shave. You can't just be gross and hairy. That's going to hurt your attraction. Girls make fun of it. I have female friends who make fun of hairy guys to me all the time. So manscape, you shave it down to like a 1 or a 2 with a pair of head shavers. Not the biggest deal in the world. It's pretty easy. You just got to do it somewhere where you can clean up afterwards. Keep your chest hair. You don't have to cut all your chest hair off, but keep it thin and short. You don't want to have a bushy beard of chest hair popping out or back hair. Get rid of that. Make sure that you trim your nether regions as well. Nothing like having a girl go down there and get hair in her teeth. No fun for them or you going further. Now, there's some problem areas with body hair that are confusing, but happen all the time. Number 1, unibrows. You would be amazed at how many unibrows walk into the seminar room every year. Every year. You would think, like, you look in the mirror, you think, oh, do I have things in my teeth? Oh, I have a giant fucking row of hair going between my eyebrows. Maybe I should pluck that shit out, or wax it, or thread it, or shave it with a fucking razor. Like, do anything in the world to get rid of it. If you have a unibrow, as it says in our awesome graphic to the right, at least you can bang blind bitches, because that's really all you're going to be doing. It's horrible, it's disgusting, it's an insult to people who have to look at it. Get rid of the unibrow. Anyone walks into a unibrow this year, now that they have these videos, I'm going to be livid. Number 2, back of the neck trails. This one is tough. I mean, this one is one that sometimes I can be guilty of. You get your hair cut and then the hair grows in kind of below it, and you've got to keep that trim or shave it. You don't want to have these little trails of hair running down back there on the back of your neck. It just looks very unkept and kind of gross. So, a simple shave with a razor and a mirror can kind of take care of that. Again, my biggest personal pet peeve. This is one where if I embarrass you by talking to you about this at the boot camp, I apologize in advance. Actually, I don't, because I don't feel bad about it, because you have nose hair and it's disgusting. Nose hair is gross. I don't understand how people don't notice that they have 2-inch hairs sticking out of their goddamn nose, but some people don't. And for you, I say, again, you must pluck or trim or cut with scissors or burn or wax or do something. Get a nose hair trimmer. I don't care what you do. Just don't have nose hairs sticking out. Like, I should not be able to pull you around by your nose hairs. I definitely have seen this too. So don't have nose hair. It's gross. I personally pluck it. You don't have to be that much of a masochist, but you do have to get rid of it. Get a nose hair trimmer. Then ear hair. This is like a weird one that you get as you're older, usually after like 23 or 24, at least with me. Usually they're like white. If they're white and they're not that noticeable, then you can leave them alone. I have like really hairy ears for some reason, so I have to kind of trim them with a little like head trimmer type thing. So if you have like really hairy ears like me, that's gross. You don't want to have like black hairs on your ears. It's kind of disgusting. So be aware of that as well, because all these little things, just when a girl's kind of sizing you up, they make an impression, and we always want to put our best foot forward. Next, body odor. You should always smell good when you're going out to meet girls. Shower, use soap, deodorant, and body wash. I think soap kind of dries your skin out. I think it also can make your skin kind of dry and make you sweat more. So I personally like to use body wash. There's one out there that has pheromones in it. Pheromones are proven to work, so that's the one I use. You can see it's like magnetic or something, Old Spice, something like that. Yeah, otherwise just have a body wash, just something that smells good. And also cologne. That's another big thing, is everyone has different colognes that react to their body's pH differently. So one thing you can do, and an easy way to meet girls, is just go to a cologne section of a department store and try a couple of them on. Dab a couple of them on, ask anyone who's around how you think they smell, and pick one. I personally like Acqua di Gio. I've also worn Dolce & Gabbana. I've also worn Marc Jacobs. I've worn Dior Black. I've worn quite a few until I found one that just always gets compliments as soon as kind of girls get close enough to smell it. So you should smell good. It's just one of the things that, again, is in our control. Over the year, you're going to hear me talk a lot about things you can control and things you can't control. That's in your control. So cologne, definitely important. Okay, so now we're going to switch over, and we're going to talk a little bit about fashion and style. Like I said, I'm going to kind of gloss over this a little bit, because A, we're going to talk about it mostly at the boot camp, and B, we're going to have another lesson on stereotyping down the line, which is going to be about using fashion to project kind of sexuality and a certain image. So today, we want to just think that the way we dress is one of the first things people notice. So we want to dress in a way that conveys one thing and one thing only, and that's that we're either a guy she usually dates or has always wanted to date. And that's really, really important. Write that down, make a note of that. Usually dates or has always wanted to date. So I'm going to break down about 10 do's and don'ts here, which are just basic fashion things that are mistakes a lot of people make that you'll see yourself be a lot more put together and a lot better dressed if you just fix these 10 things. Number 1, do. Buy designer jeans. I know, I'm not going to recommend you spend money in any other way here. But designer jeans are the one thing where expensive jeans are just made so much better. They have a better shape, they have better colors, they have better markings, distressings, they last longer. Girls compliment my jeans all the time. I like Diesels and True Religion's 7s. But really, you got to kind of try them on yourself. What you have to do is you have to go to a Nordstrom's or any store that has a lot of jean brands and try on a lot of different pairs of jeans until you find one that looks really good on you. Everyone's going to be different. I had to try on a gajillion pairs of jeans because I have weird legs that are kind of overly thick but a thin waist. I don't know. It's weird. But trust me, it's way worth the 2 hours you spend picking out 2 pairs of jeans. One light pair, like this pair pictured here, that's like a daytime jean. That's a jean you can wear during the daytime that's going to be kind of cool and not look too try-hard. And then you want to get a darker pair, a nighttime jean, which is darker, don't have to be black, but the darker navy blue color of jean. That's the number one thing. Get a pair of designer jeans that fits you really well. They should be, you're going to all cringe here, they should be about $200 a pair. I spend way more than that, unfortunately, but that's just because I'm a little obsessed with jeans. Our number 1 don't, this is something that a lot of people do, basic fashion goes to flattery, and that's wear colors that clash with your skin. If you're really fair skinned, you're really pale, white, A, you should tan, and B, you want to stick more to dark colors, plain colors, whites, creams, grays, blacks, dark blues, stuff like that, and stay away from pastels, oranges, greens, all stuff like that, because it's going to clash with your skin. The darker you are, the more you can kind of go crazy with pastels and colors and be really interesting and create a nice kind of contrast with your skin and really make it pop. So the darker you are, the more you can wear crazy colors. The lighter you are, the more you want to stick to your basics, because otherwise it's just going to clash. Have you ever seen a white guy in a bright orange shirt? It's not pretty. Number 2, do. Make sure your clothes fit. Unlike our real life photo here, from a student whose shirt is 4 sizes too big and whose pants have some sort of writing on them for some reason. You want to make sure your clothes fit. That's the most important thing. I have turned down amazing pieces of clothing that I really, really liked because they didn't fit me correctly. It's a big, big thing because that's how it's going to actually look and interact with you. So you want to make sure that things fit perfectly. Try everything on. I know it can be a pain in the ass sometimes, but buying things over the internet or that you haven't tried on first is just a recipe for disaster. It's the mistake I made consistently buying clothes for a long time. Second don't buy an entire wardrobe at once. Don't rush out and spend like, $1,000 or $1,500 or $2,000 buying, all this clothing. You want to instead pick things up piece by piece because as we go through this year, your tastes are going to change. You're going to have different ideas of how you think you should be dressing. I'm going to give you ideas. So instead, what I want you to do is just buy one new item every time you get paid. Now, if your taste is horribly out of fashion, we're going to figure it out at the boot camp. But this way, you'll learn to shop as your tastes kind of evolve, and you won't wind up with a wardrobe full of clothes that you hate 6 weeks from now. I've seen a lot of students make that mistake, so don't go crazy. Number 3, get a stylish haircut. We talked about this before. This makes a huge difference. Get a gay hairstylist if you can. Ideally, you want to find a gay hairstylist. Go to Yelp.com and look for kind of good stylists. If you don't live in a major area, major city, it's going to be a little tougher than if you live in LA, New York, Miami, etc. But really think about what kind of hair you want and then ask the stylist. Ask them, what they think looks good on you, what they would suggest, what they think really fits your face, because there's a lot of things that go into that. So look for things that you think would work and celebrities, but then also get a gay hairstylist and ask them. Girls generally do a worse job of cutting your hair to make you look sexy. Number 3, flaunting your functionality. Things that are functional are inherently not sexy, while things that are superfluous are just considered sexy. That's the theory behind peacocking, is that the peacock shows off by flaunting that it doesn't have to hide from predators. So when you're thinking things that are non-functional, you think tattoos, piercings, wristbands, rings, watches, stuff like that. But we'll get to the whole peacocking issue in a second. Number 4, do and don't. Number 4, have one thing a girl can talk to you about. This is the part of peacocking that's really worth doing. If you can have something that girls can talk to you about, that's really helpful. It doesn't necessarily mean they're attracted to you, but it does mean that they are going to open you as opposed to you opening them, which gives you a little bit of positioning. So, I like t-shirts with funny slogans or cool things. Band shirts are a great thing. If you have a band shirt and a girl likes the same kind of band or hates the same kind of band, it gives her an excuse to talk to you. Funny slogans, really interesting patterns, cool color choices, interesting logos, really well-fitting things. All that stuff's good. A ring, a bracelet, a pair of cool glasses if you wear glasses, not sunglasses in the club, that's douchey, but glasses if you have a good pair, or necklace. Just don't overdo it. You don't want to stand out in the wrong ways or places, like our friends here to the left, Mystery and Style, public figures. This is peacocking gone wrong. This is ridiculous with the snakeskin suit and the, too tight leather pants, and boots with shackles on the side. I mean, don't get me wrong, I had some bad outfits, but you'll see bad outfits all around these guys. One of these guys here, is wearing white pants with a flower plaid shirt that just looks terrible. He even matched his shoes, so technically it doesn't violate the style rules, but it still is an awful out-of-fashion choice. The other guy, is layered up with a shirt and kind of a nerdy light-up thing, but then has shoes that come out of left field, and he's tucked his t-shirt in. Don't do that. I think we've got a guy whose pants are a little too baggy back here, and this guy who looks like Wolverine. Basically, you don't want to stand out in a way that is not helpful. Like, you could stand out with a herpes sore on your lip, and there are people who would argue that that was pre-selection. Not everything that evolutionarily makes sense in the world of fashion. So you want to have one thing that the girls can talk to you about. You don't want to be a clown. And the last do and don't. Match your shirt, belt, and shoes. This is the one basic fashion rule that just makes a lot of sense and really just makes you look put together. It makes you look like you put thought into it. I know it seems silly, but girls will notice. And last, don't leave the house without being ready to approach. Make sure that even if you're going to the gym, even if you're kind of doing whatever, you're put together. That's part of being an adult. It's part of having some self-esteem and personal pride and not being schlubby and kind of gross. I know it's easy to be schlubby and gross, but you'll feel better. You'll have a lot more chances to talk to girls, and you won't have the excuse that you don't, you haven't showered or you aren't wearing good clothes. You always wanna have good clothes when you leave the house. You can wear your schlubby clothes at home. Okay, so we've gone through a lot on grooming and fashion here. So what I want you to do as an exercise is assess and complete an overhaul of the following. Go through the 5 problem areas of grooming. Check your breath. Make sure you start carrying gum or a breath freshener. Make sure you don't have body odor. Maybe invest in a cologne. Groom your body hair. Manscape it. Make sure you don't have a unibrow or nose hairs or ear hairs. Check to make sure that all of those areas are taken care of first. Then go through the 10 fashion do's and don'ts. Look at your outfits. Are you matching your belt, shirt, and shoes? Are you, making sure your clothes fit? Do you have clothes that are kind of tacky and out of style? Is your haircut up to par? Etc. That's the first part. Once you overhaul, the next part is I want you to start thinking about what kind of image or style you want to project. Pick a fashion icon, like my boy Pierce Brosnan right here. Then start trying to dress like that person. And don't so much copy their outfits as think about what they would wear to dress up, what they would wear to dress down, to go to the gym, to go watch football, to go on a date, whatever. And that'll give you some ideas for outfits and overall fashion, which will really help you as you progress with your ever-evolving fashion sense. Fashion is something we're always going to be refining. Your style will change a couple times over this year as we really tune things up to make things as attractive and congruent as possible with who you are. All right, that's going to wrap it up for today. Next week, we're going to be talking about facial expressions and being expressive. It's going to be part 4 of 5 of the fundamentals, and I have to tell you, this is one of the major sticking points guys struggle with, especially guys who are quote-unquote introverts. It's a big thing. They have blank facial expressions. They don't know how to look happy or sad or fun or, excited, and they just have this blank face. So I'm going to teach you how to fix that next week. You're going to make sure you want to continue to check these videos all the time because this is stuff we're going to be taking for granted on the boot camp. All right, till next week, I will talk to you then.